A grave miscalculation. The free world is united in its resolve to stand up to his barbarism. And the fortitude and defiance of the Ukrainian people in the face of this unjust and unwarranted aggression is moving hearts around the world. I know that however long it takes, however arduous, Putin must fail.
Strong words against Vladimir Putin from British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, as Western leaders consider strengthening their unified response with sweeping economic sanctions against him and his cronies. But Ukraine President Vladimir Zelenskyy is saying that much more is needed. He's been calling on NATO to protect his country's skies with that no-fly zone. That, though, so far ruled out by the alliance. Putin considers that an act of war. So what can the U.S. and our allies, like Britain, do? British Ambassador to the United States, Dame Karen Pierce, joins us now. She has long been a Ukrainian expert at the Foreign Office before assuming her post in Washington and previously at the UN. Ambassador, always good to have your wisdom, your experience and insight here. Can you explain if you were to sit down with President Zelenskyy about his request for a NATO no-fly zone, what would you tell him why it's not possible, and what do you think is possible?
I think one would say that however hard it is for the Ukrainian people to hear this, if NATO entered the conflict by bringing in a no-fly zone, which would involve fighting fighting Russian air units, that would lead to a worse situation, it would lead to a bigger confrontation and war, and it would ultimately lead to more people being killed, and it would not help Ukraine. And I know that's a difficult message, but as you said, Eric, the alliance has ruled out a no-fly zone and has ruled out escalating the conflict.
Here is some of what President Zelenskyy has said about that. Let's listen for a second.
Do not be silent. Support Ukraine. Because if Ukraine does not survive, the whole of Europe will not survive. If Ukraine falls, the whole of Europe will fall.
Do you have a concern, and what is that concern, that this possibly could spread, something that Putin has his eyes beyond Ukraine?
I think it's right that we have to look very carefully at bolstering Euro-Atlantic security. So that's strengthening NATO's defensive posture, particularly on the south and east of NATO, the part nearest Ukraine. I stress defensive. This is not a threat to Russia. But it's also about supporting those countries that aren't in NATO, like Georgia, like Moldova, and like the Western Balkans countries. They deserve and they will get our support. And I agree that we need to make sure that President Putin does not turn to them next. We do that by supporting Ukraine, by tightening the economic noose around Russia so that they can't prosecute this war and can't take it further. And we do it by showing our support in aid and other ways and reform to those countries that aren't in NATO.
You mentioned those other former Eastern European countries, Georgia, Moldova. For example, Poland has those MiGs. There have been talk about sending volunteer pilots or giving Ukraine more MiGs. Would Putin see that as an act of war, or would that be a way in order to bolster Ukraine's defense?
I think, to be honest, Eric, who knows what's in President Putin's mind? Anyone who wanted to pursue Euro-Atlantic security in a rational way, in a safe way, would not have launched this terrible invasion. So I think it's very hard to say what President Putin would or would not think. And I can understand the desire of ordinary people to go and help Ukraine. But NATO itself will not do that militarily. NATO is helping in other ways, particularly through the provision of defensive equipment to the Ukrainians so they can continue to defend themselves. And we hope to be able to do more of that in the weeks to come.
And finally, the Prime Minister says that he fears the Russian president will, quote, double down and continue with the destruction. We've seen what he's done in Chechnya and Syria, and that's flattening cities, bombing hospitals and schools, killing civilians, destroying the infrastructure. Are you concerned and afraid that that is exactly the same strategy that he is undergoing now in Ukraine?
I think from my personal observation, Eric, he's just been getting more and more ruthless. You know, you mentioned earlier my time at the UN, and as you know, that was the poisoning of the Skripals in an English city called Salisbury. Before that, there was the invasion of Crimea. Before that, in 2008, of Georgia. There's been the poisoning of Mr. Navalny. There have been assassinations in a Berlin garden. And now you have this awful onslaught on Ukraine. So yes, I think it is getting worse from President Putin's perspective. And I think we have to redouble our efforts on the economic side to bring home to the Russian people what's been done in their name, but also particularly to degrade President Putin's ability to prosecute the war.
Ambassador, thank you. And folks, if who are watching, if you want to hear about the warnings about Vladimir Putin and Russian intentions, especially in those poisonings in Great Britain, just go Google Ambassador Pierce's speeches at the UN. She was tough, ungiving, and she was very critical of the Russian intentions. British Ambassador Karen Pierce, thank you for joining us. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.